Hi, it's Roland here. Who else could it be? Here's a sad story for you. We go back to September the 12th, 1910, when a new theatre and picture house opened in Burlington Street, Chesterfield, taking over the former premises of the Derbyshire Courier. The Palace Theatre promised patrons a quality experience of animated film and acts to enjoy. The building had been renovated and made into a safe place to visit, with special exits to secure the safety of the public. However, what was to come on the 27th of December 2011 was not made safe by these exits, nor could it have been. On that fateful eve, a performance was scheduled for 7:15 p.m, featuring a number of local children. The children arrived at approximately 5:15 p.m. They were to appear on stage dressed as penguins and Eskimos. Once costumed, they were divided into two groups. One group of children were housed in a dressing room, the other group comprising of 12 girls in a dressing room located in a cottage next door to the theatre. The cottage was accessed from the theatre by means of a spiral staircase. The flimsy and flammable costumes were to prove deadly. The girls' chaperone, Mrs. Elliot, had gone to see the other girls in the theatre dressing room to tell them to be quiet. We can imagine the noise generated by a lot of excited girls at this event. There are two theories as to what happened. The first is that one of the girls threw a piece of paper or loose cotton into the open fire. This flared back and ignited the Eskimo costume of 13-year-old Elizabeth, Lizzie Bell, who it was said to be standing with her back to the fire. Anyone with experience of open fires will have memories of standing with their back to the fire. It's quite a nice thing to do. Understandably, Elizabeth, with a costume in flames, panicked. This spread the fire to others in the room. Mrs. Elliot heard the commotion, rushed back to the room and tried to extinguish the flames. The girls, though, were in full panic mode and rushed out of the room, taking Mrs. Elliot with them. They rushed onto the spiral staircase leading down to the stage, several of the girls falling to the bottom. Some adults rushed to the aid of the girls, extinguishing the flames, but for 5 of the girls it was too late. They died the next day in hospital from serious burns. The second theory is that the fire started by one of the girls who was smoking. Yes, it was 1911. People would smoke at all sorts of ages. And that she had dropped the cigarette onto her costume and started the fire. The 5 girls are Mabel Swain, age 13, Lydia Smith, 12, Winnie Wood, 14, Ada Tidball, 13, and Elizabeth Bell, 13. They're all buried together in Spital Cemetery in an unmarked paupers' graves. The story could have ended there, but in 2017, Dave Sheldon, a friend of the cemetery, got permission to mark the place where the girls were buried with headstones. I found the headstones in the cemetery and contemplated their lost lives. No blame was found at the girls' coroner's inquest. Recommendations were made that all the dressing rooms should be within the theatre building and that the premises should be frequently inspected. Also, that legislation ought to be brought forward to prohibit inflammable material being used as fancy dress in any kind of entertainment. Perhaps that latter point is something parents need to be aware of still in our modern times. The Palace Theatre did reopen soon after this tragic event. Eventually it closed in 1923, as business was not good then, and it was demolished to make room for the expansion of a Woolworths store. So it's a sad tale of lost lives, but it's nice that these girls, with the passing of time, have not been completely forgotten. A sad story, one I hope that we'll all contemplate, and thank you for watching. If you're not a subscriber, click that subscribe button before you go, and we'll see you in a future video. Thank you.